I think when we started with you, we were seeing about on average 85 a week starting in
Yeah.
that November, December of last year.
Yeah.
And, since then, since starting, we've just steadily grown and
Yeah.
have been continuing to grow since then. We had a
Yeah.
really big explosion in kind of that March, April time period, and we got up well over 200 a week. And our best
Yeah.
visits in a week now is like 234 in a week, which is pretty awesome.
So you've tripled your practice in less than a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hey everyone, this is Casey Carroll with Action Advertising Agency. I'm here with another testimonial today with Dr. Kyle LeDuc. Now, Dr. Kyle LeDuc and I have been working with each other since early December of 2019. So it's been, roughly about 9 months or so we've been working with each other, and wanted to get him on camera so we could talk about his experience so far, because it's a pretty cool story.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Casey. I'm excited to do this video here and just tell people more about, the value that you brought to me in my practice since starting with you.
Appreciate it. Love it. Yeah. So let's talk about what your practice looked like before we started working with each other, because, I know that you've worked with another agency. We don't have to name their name or anything like that. I also know that what your numbers kind of were like before, but talk a little bit about what were things like last November and before that point, versus now.
Yeah, definitely. So we opened up in May of 2019. Our first full month was about June. And, we grew up to about 100 a week, just under 100 visits a week. So I think when we started with you, we were seeing about on average 85 a week starting in that November, December of last year.
Yeah.
And, since then, since starting, we've just steadily grown and have been continuing to grow since then. We had a really big explosion in kind of that March, April time period, and we got up well over 200 a week, and our best visits in a week now is like 234 in a week, which is pretty awesome.
So you've tripled your practice in less than a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Those numbers are phenomenal. I mean, and the funny thing is too, you worked with a pretty well-known Facebook advertising company before you and I started working with each other, and things didn't work out. What was that experience like working with them versus me?
I don't want to say anything bad. I mean, all Facebook advertisers are great, and I think they all can bring value. But I think the unique aspect that you really brought was, number one, your communication. You do Zoom calls like this every month, or really whenever I need you to communicate with, you're there for me, and I love that. I have your personal cell phone. I have access to calling you, emailing you anytime I need. And you also have the unique aspect with, you don't just, put out these ads and then just let the patients blindly walk in. You coach the chiropractor on how to really communicate with the patients and walk them through the sales process to make sure that you can actually get the patient started under care and help them in that way too.
For sure. And look, it was funny because I know that when you and I first started working with each other, you didn't have any employees at the time. You didn't have anything like that. Now you got 2 CAs, and your collections are growing steadily every single month. We're tracking your patient visits per week. And I mean, your schedule rate, by the way, is bar none one of the biggest reasons why you're doing so well as well. And that's something that we've talked about from the very beginning. I really had to nip that in the bud, quite a bit in the very beginning. And you've done a very good job at just really taking in a lot of the stuff that I suggest and then implementing it immediately. And a lot of that has to do, I think, obviously with you and yourself and your willingness to work hard if necessary to get to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But the proof is in the pudding. I'm super stoked to see, and just, you've tripled your practice in less than a year. And you didn't do it with any flash in the pan, gimmicky stuff. There's a lot of talk about AI. There's a lot of talk about all this other stuff and automation that creates all these no-shows and stuff. We did it the true old-fashioned way, and we had a consistent outcome. And I just love hearing your story and how well you've done in that short time frame.
I love it too. And I'm grateful for you, Casey, and a lot of your help. A lot of it is hard work and the energy we put in here, but a lot of it has to be attributed to just, good advertising on Facebook and just, people out there need us, and we were here for them. So.
The great thing is you're also in a very challenging market for advertising. I'm not going to lie. Your advertising is, the cost of advertising is a lot higher in your market because there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of other chiropractors that are also in your same market that are also advertising. We know it full well. And even though, you have competition, because of the fact that you focus on process, you're still able to be significantly more profitable than a lot of these other chiropractors. And therefore you can afford to pay more per lead if you really needed to, because you focus so much on the process. And you're still growing every single month, number of new patients. Actually, like, how many new patients would you usually see per month before we started working with each other versus like now?
Oh man. I would say our best was probably around just over 40 or 40.
Okay.
I would say was our best new patients in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's an average of 60 plus or something like that?
Yeah, 60,
Roughly?
70. I mean, our best is like 76 new ones in a month now.
Really?
Yep. And we average right around 60 new ones a month, 50 to 60.
That's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
like, and we've done that with no events, no screenings.
Yeah. You think with COVID and everything that the new patient volume would go down, but we've increased that completely, and it's
That's
no
awesome.
events, no screenings. So we just got to up it with our Facebook ads. For sure.
Yeah. And, we've been tracking a lot of your progress as well, with our proprietary tracking system, the report card. So I know where all your numbers are. It's every single month. We already know what we're working on. And the cool thing is, we're having conversations now talking about, okay, well, what can we do to improve your number of patients who resign into maintenance and wellness? What can we do to track those numbers and start testing new stuff and improving those numbers? What can we do to improve the average number of patients or average number of referrals you get per patient, and seeing what we can do to improve that over time, and measuring that, putting new systems in place and seeing if that does improve the numbers and stuff. And it's kind of a cool situation to be a part of, where I can see where you came from versus where you're at right now, and seeing that massive trajectory in such a short time frame really makes me appreciate working with clients like you as well.
Definitely. I think go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is, for anyone, because I know you're short on time, and I want to respect your time. For any chiropractor who's watching this video that's like on the fence, hasn't, they've worked with other Facebook advertising agencies, or they've done something along the lines that are thinking like, man, I'm not sure if I should give, Action Advertising Agency a chance, or Casey a chance, or something like that. What would you tell those people?
I would tell them to do it. And number one reason is that you're different from a lot of other Facebook advertising agencies out there. And, the proof is in the results that we're getting here, and a lot of the results that other chiropractors are getting who work with you as well too. And again, you said it right on the button, is that a lot of what you do focuses on the sales process and the conversion process, and not just getting new patients in the door, but actually what to do once they're in the door, or how to communicate with these new leads once they all show up on your Google spreadsheet that they're coming in from you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure. No, I appreciate that. And, I'm looking forward to helping you grow. Like, we want to get to 300 plus visits per week. And I think we've got a good plan in place to get in there consistently, pretty moving forward as well.
That's right.
Cool. Well, hey, I appreciate it, Dr. LeDuc. Thank you very much for your time. For anyone who's watching this video, listen to Dr. LeDuc's story. It's pretty fantastic to see your growth in just the last year or so, but I'm definitely looking forward to helping you get to new levels in your business afterwards too.
Thanks, Casey. Appreciate all the help and love what you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you.